Welcome everyone today to Real Talk with my homies. I'm your host, Jake Wardrop, licensed realtor with Homepage Realty in Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm joined by the most famous person in my cell phone, Steven Johnson, licensed realtor at Homepage Realty and now reality TV star. Steven appeared on 2 episodes of the hit Netflix show Wrestlers. Steven does commentary for Ohio Valley Wrestling, or some of you might know it as OVW, as well as selling real estate. According to the MLS, since 2019, Steven has sold 76 homes for a total of $18.1 million. Steven, how are we doing today?
I just found out. I never looked up how many homes. So you said it was 76?
76 homes since 2019.
2019.
I did 5 years.
5 years, 76. It's 15 a year.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. I'll
Turn for yourself.
Hey, yeah, sure.
So you know a few things about selling houses.
A little bit. I'm still learning.
How long have you been licensed? I didn't go back all the way. I just went.
2018 is when I got my license. But I mean, you tack that year on. I think I might have sold 2 or 3 homes that first year. My first sale was my mother-in-law's house,
nice.
Right off the bat. So I got the heavy stuff out of the way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Nice. So today's a very special day. I am taking my daughter to WWE SmackDown. She is a massive wrestling fan. I am as well. Another reason why we wanted to have you on tonight is because of your affiliation with wrestling and your fandom of wrestling. Do you get any cool access to SmackDown tonight because of OVW?
I'm waiting on my ticket. I've got my feelers out. If I happen to come across one, I'll be happy to go. I love what's happening with wrestling right now. It seems to be in another bit of a boom period. Cody Rhodes, who's representing WWE as their world champion, is an OVW alum and touts that very proudly. He was on the local news this morning.
I saw a clip of him with Shannon the Dude this morning.
Bright and early, that dude's out doing the run, and puts over OVW. It's I'm happy to see it, and I'm happy they're here tonight. It's going to be fun.
Yep, that's my daughter's favorite, and Bianca Belair.
Oh, okay, right.
Yep, I've been a big fan of the Bloodline stuff.
Sure,
I can't decide if I like the growth of it or the devolution of the Bloodline more.
I'm curious to see where they're headed as far as The Rock and Roman Reigns, when they return, what they're going to do. That's going to be fun. That's where I'm at with it.
I'm really concerned that storyline is going to become like the Marvel movies.
Could be.
It was great for the first X amount of years, and now it's just oversaturated, and they're going to start finding like fourth cousins twice removed that are going to put them in there. And
the Samoan bloodline does run deep in real life, not only in wrestling but in real life. But this year WrestleMania is going to be in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas, I see Las Vegas as my second home. So to be able to go to my first WrestleMania in Vegas, I don't care what bloodline match it is, brother. I know there's going to be probably some combination of The Rock, Roman Reigns, and any of the others. I'm just going to be happy to be there.
That's awesome. Well, we'll get into more OVW talk here in a little bit.
Sure.
I've been saving this for the longest of times, and I want you to give me an honest reaction of it. If it's stupid, tell me it's stupid. If it's not funny, tell me it's not funny.
Okay.
All right. So this is a wrestling pun and a housing pun all rolled into one.
Oh, boy.
Yes. So, and this is 100% authentic. I came up with this.
Sure.
So buying a house for the consumer has gone from Dusty Rhodes to Cody Rhodes.
Elaborate.
All right. What's Dusty Rhodes' nickname?
The American Dream.
What's Cody Rhodes' nickname?
Oh, boy, that's good.
All right. Thank you.
There you go. There you go.
Would you have told me if it was bad?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I appreciate the info.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to use that anymore.
That was good. Yeah, no, I like it.
It's applicable to today. All right, today's podcast is brought to you by Ryan Denigan with Equity Resources Mortgage. Whether you're looking to purchase or refinance a primary residence, second home, or investment property in Kentucky or Indiana, Ryan and his team are here to assist you and guide you through a quick and smooth mortgage process to ensure you always close on time. You can reach him at 502-759-1406. Equity Resources Incorporated, NMLS 1579, is an equal opportunity lender. Ryan Denigan, NMLS 1447385, located at 400 Techney Center Drive, Suite 101 in Milford, Ohio, 45150. All right, we already answered this question, so we'll skip it. I was going to ask when you got licensed. Largest real estate transaction?
was thinking about Now, are you talking single transaction? Because I've had some buy sells together.
Yeah, if you want to, however, dealer's choice on the question.
All right. Largest single transaction was, I think it was $675.
Okay.
For a good friend of mine, and God bless him, he was told what his max was, and he had a mind frame much lower. He went and looked at one much lower, and then looked at that max, and by God, he shot right towards it. Crazy how that works, isn't it?
It's funny how you're like, well, you know what, $100,000 more will get me this.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, all right.
Yeah, between $550 and $650 is significant around here in Louisville. So, anyways, not to tell too many tales outside of school. My largest combined transaction was a buy-sell for an individual. I think it was like 1.1.
Yeah.
Whereas
was it the same guy?
No.
Okay.
No, it was a 6 and a 5. So he was just slightly over, but yeah, 6 and a 5, and that one felt good. That one felt real good. There was a lot of work involved.
Yeah, the buy sells are. I've got 3 buy sells working right now, and they're so stressful.
It's the lining everything up just right. I've got a couple going myself, and lining it up just right when you're dealing with so many variables
and uncontrolled.
There's nothing you can do about it. There's nowhere you can go, nobody you can talk to.
No,
you just got to cross your fingers.
All right. Mine, just for context, is 520. Largest deal. I've done significant volume, but haven't crept over that 600 mark yet. Smallest real estate transaction.
40?
40? Was it some land or like a little condo? What was it?
It was it turned into land pretty quick.
Yeah.
We'll call it that. I forget exactly where.
Yeah.
Somewhere out in the Portland neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah. Smallest for me from a house was 100. Smallest for dirt was 32, if you include that.
Yeah.
And then we turned around and sold it for 40, actually. Literally a year later. Yeah. They wanted to build a house. Shout out Mike Millsap. Wanted to build a house, and then they went through, I think, the process of what it would take to get all the, dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, and the whole song and dance to build permits.
Sure.
I think they're like, let's just pay somebody to build our house for us. So we sold the land, covered the commissions. I think they walked away with like $2,000. No, nice little ROI on, $30,000, $32,000, $34,000 piece of land. You walk away with $2,000 after a year.
Yeah, not bad.
And you covered commission fees and everything out of that.
Sure.
Where do you get your leads? Do you buy leads? Where do you source them? Are you referral based only?
I have not sourced a lead since I came to Homepage in 2020.
Okay. Where were you before Homepage, just out of curiosity?
Keller Willie.
Okay. And you probably got funneled dozens of leads from there, right?
I was my bread and butter in Keller, which is fine. And that works for people, and that's great for them. That's just not how I operate business. I'm not a cold calling guy. I also, and again, and I know that open houses are very beneficial for people who do them, but I also have not done an open house since I've been to Homepage.
I'm on the fence about open houses. I think they're really important to do for optics of your seller.
Sure.
I think there are chances where you can find buyers for the house.
Absolutely. I have.
I've got a specific situation. I'm listing a house over off Miles Lane off Preston Highway here in the next couple of weeks, and there's a lot of people in that area that tend to live together. A lot of generational housing. So our goal is let's host a couple open houses. Maybe one of them creeps down and says, "Hey, I'd like to live in this house, and now I'm only 2 doors down from my actual family, but I get my own personal space now, and I'm not living in the basement." So a lot of generational housing out there. So we're hoping to kind of snag a buyer from that.
Hey, I know that you find an avenue and run with it.
George said it best on another episode that we had with him is they're great for new agents. Like, you got to get in the thick of it and learn how to do it.
That's at my first 2 years in, I did one damn near every weekend. But then how I do what I do is I deal with, I will say, 95% non-English speaking clients.
Okay.
And it starts.
Are you fluent in other languages?
No.
Okay.
No. But I work with a translator, and then it's just over the years I've learned how to properly communicate with anybody who doesn't have English as their first language. But
how'd you find that niche?
I worked in banking. from 2010 to 2016. And during that time, I worked at a branch that was in an area that had a lot of refugees. And I developed a relationship with one of them through banking in him getting his mortgage way back in 2016. When I got in the industry in 2018, I was still new and getting my feet wet. But after a year, 2019, I had, through coincidence, gotten back in contact with him. One thing led to another. And that seed that was planted turned into the most bountiful.
That's awesome.
I knock on whatever material this may be. Of course, it's granite. Carry about it. Knock on granite. That I cannot tell you how fortunate I am, but it is turned into a whole thing. And I'm incredibly fortunate, but it's hard work.
And he's on the Christmas card list.
Oh.
Do you do so? Yeah, I actually knew that you worked at PNC just because we have a mutual friend, Kayla Hacker.
Kayla, you know Kayla.
Oh yeah, she is. She's the wife of one of my best friends.
Right?
Yes. I've known Brandon. I've known Brandon since I was about a week old. He grew up next door to me. We still talk to this day. I think we probably actually text each other this morning.
Is that right?
Yeah. Not about you though. Sorry.
No.
So do you do? I know you said you worked in banking for a while. Do you still do it? What do you do? Do you do anything full time? Or are you all in with besides the OVW?
I do. I work in real estate full time. We have 5 properties that I manage.
Okay.
We're getting ready to actually close on the 5th. This next week. Looking to have it rented out immediately. So, but I manage those, and then I work with the clients that I have afforded to me. And then I work a day or two a week with OVW.
Awesome.
I stay busy, but it's all on my schedule.
Yep.
Which is all I could ask for.
What is one piece of technology or software that you utilize that you think is worth mentioning today that helps you or your clients?
I'm going to be super simple because I don't do too much. But I will say that I do not know how realtors did anything before smartphones.
Oh, God.
The advent of the smartphone, I can take a transaction from pillar to post. I can take it from the first text saying I want to buy a house all the way to the final disclosures being sent. I can do everything through this device that's in my pocket. And I don't.
Yeah.
Because it can be a little, it can be done, but there are easier ways. But the fact that you can handle an entire transaction through that one pocket device instead of picking up your client, breaking out the map, scheduling these showings, doing all this analog, I couldn't fathom. God bless those who did it before us, brother, because that was a completely different game.
We had Rebecca on 2 episodes ago, I think, and she had mentioned how she's been licensed since 2000, and she remembers the pen and paper days, and she talks about she writes contracts on her phone through the .loop app. I can't do that. I just, there's too much going on at one time for me. I want to be able to scroll, and I've never written a contract on my phone, but I'll still use .loop on my phone.
I prefer it as laptop.
Yeah.
But certain situations call for...
Have you done a .loop contract on your phone?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not come across the need to do that yet. But granted, my laptop's never more than 5 feet away from me.
I have been fortunate enough to have written contracts on 3 different continents in the last 2 years.
All right. I'm going to go with number 1, North America.
1, North America, 2, Africa, and then 3, Australia.
Nice.
So, again, necessity is the mother of invention. It's like, I'm going to plow through this. So I'm, pinching and scrolling and doing little things, putting the phone up to my face so I can see everything, but I got it done.
That's awesome. Did you get the deal?
Oh, yeah. Nice. Oh, yeah. Come on now.
All right. Ad read time. Time to pay the bills. Welcome to today's podcast brought to you by Black Diamond Pest Control with over 80 years of experience in providing the highest quality pest control and a dedication to an unparalleled customer service. They have treated just about every kind of pest problem you could imagine across their 14 locations, and they also provide turf maintenance and HVAC services at their flagship office in Jeffersonville. Their commitment to all customer satisfaction has earned them numerous awards, numerous service awards and allowed them to grow into one of the largest pest offices in the country, with more locations planned for the future. If you got anything bugging you, you hear that? Anything bugging you, please call 877-DEAD-BUG today, and a dedicated member of the Black Diamond team will assist you with all of your pest control needs, and mention that you found them on our podcast. So let's get into the fun stuff and wrap this thing up. OVW. Who is your favorite past or present OVW superstar not named Steven Johnson?
OVW superstar. All right. I'm going to go deep with this because he's an old friend of mine. We used to play cards way, way back when I had first moved back to Louisville from Baltimore in like 2004, 2005.
All right.
He was what they call a jobber, a jabroni.
Yep.
He got beat all the time.
Yep.
His name was Johnny Punch.
Okay.
Good old Johnny Punch. Loved the guy, loved him, loved his girlfriend. I think they might still be together some 20 years later. God bless them.
Good for them.
But yeah, big props to Johnny Punch, an OVW OG. But I mean, there's so many great names that have come through OVW over the last 20 years. I mean, everybody knows Lesnar, Cena, Batista, Orton. But then the names that have come through since then, OVW has been around, and to have worked with the different promotions that they've worked with over the years, and then have the talent that they have today, it's as strong as ever. It really is.
That's awesome. So, what was it like having the Netflix cameras around?
I'm going to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Go for it. I don't want you to lie to me.
I didn't like it.
Really? So, what about it? I'm very much I don't believe that anything is real until not only the check is cashed, but the cash is in my account. Mm-hmm.
You can hand me a check all day.
Mm-hmm.
So they could film all day. I did not believe that this was going to see the light of day.
I got that sentiment from hearing, I listen to Kentucky Sports Radio a lot. Matt Jones is the voice of Kentucky Sports Radio, one of the co-owners of OVW.
Right.
And I think he said it somewhere on the air that was kind of the sentiment from a lot of people in your position.
The writer's strike did more for OVW than anybody really acknowledges.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix was at a loss for content, and they had this in the can.
Mm-hmm.
It was serendipitous. I mean, who knows? They may very well have aired it eventually, but the fact that it fell during that time frame, and they'll never admit that that's the reason.
Of course.
That's fine, but it was that writer's strike did more for the future of OVW than anything has in the last 15 years. That Netflix show did more for OVW than anything that we could have done, and that's no discredit to the talent. That's no discredit to the writers or the producers.
Mm-hmm.
It's Netflix. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's a giant. It's the largest streaming platform in the world.
So to have that and to be, recommended and acclaimed that the way that we were, and to have the people producing it, the guys who did it, who had done Last Chance U, they had done Cheer, they had an established name, and then they come in and latch themselves to us. Once it aired, it was surreal.
Mm-hmm.
But while it was airing, because I'm particular, and I don't like people being in my way. I'm trying to do my job. I get it. You're trying to do your job too, but I get irrational.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably a reason that I was only in 2 episodes, because I was there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, the stories were what the stories were. That's fine. But yeah, I towards the end, I wasn't even making eye contact with the cameraman and all that. We were fine, but it was like...
Do you think other people had those same sentiments?
No, I was known for being the actor to the Netflix people, which, again, is fine. They're not going to lose any sleep over it, and I'm not either. But a lot of people, loved it, to have that attention, because that's what people are in wrestling for. It's to get attention and to ply their craft, and they took advantage of that opportunity to the fullest.
What was one of the interesting storylines, or maybe a situation that you were like, I can't wait to see how this unfolds, and then you watched the show and it never did? Was there anything that happened during the production of it that you're like, oh,
Well, as far as prominence goes, because every week, I mean, OVW is what it is. We try to run a professional wrestling program, and we try to do it professionally. So a lot of weeks, like, as fun as it is, it was relatively drama-free. So there was only so much that they could pull from.
Yeah.
The expansion of certain stories, like the Brian Kennison's whole, deal with him and whether or not he was going to even have a job.
I did him a journey.
Brother.
I mean, they did it for, dramatization. It sells, but, like, I don't know.
And that's
I don't know him. He seems like a great guy.
He's a great dude. One of my best friends. The way that they, like, people who saw the show think that they did him dirty. Rightfully so. But because, again, with him and I being as good of friends as we are, we hang out a lot outside of OVW. So I was able to hear and see this on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
It was far worse than what Netflix
really. So it was
presented.
I was hoping you were going to go the opposite direction.
No,
they blew it out of proportion.
No, absolutely not. No, they were dragging that dude through the dirt.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's already, God bless him, and I'll tell him this to his face, and he knows this. He's already a neurotic guy, so he's already, up his own ass about it.
Yeah.
So to then have the cameras, to have the constant provocation and everything like that, he was at wit's end for a lot of that. And I'm happy he made it through. He's still crushing it. So
good. Who was the most authentic and who kind of dialed it up for Netflix? As far as
some of the boys dialed it up for Netflix. God bless them. Oh, man, if I call him out. All
right, well, let's be authentic then. Who was let's give him in a positive light. Who was the most authentic from before and during?
Al.
Well, I don't think he could have dialed anything up.
No. Well, Al only knows Al's speed. Even in the ring, God bless him. I mean, he's been doing it since 2 days after I was born. September 9th, 1982 is when Al Snow got his start. I like to think that he got started because he knew that I was born, and he knew that the only way that he was going to get to meet me is through working with me.
That's fair.
So he figured that these paths would cross.
His training montage in the Netflix show was pretty incredible. Pretty freaking incredible.
I've been to his gym in his garage, and it is a hot, sweaty.
Yeah, it's a garage.
God bless.
People in real estate, we know.
It'll put you out. It'll put you out. So I mean, he does those exercises or what?
I bet he really does it.
Yeah, you follow him on Instagram, you follow him on X or whatever, Facebook. You'll see these videos because he still puts out these training videos.
I feel like
dude is real. Dude is real. But I mean, they put him over huge with that. I still remember watching it with my wife because she knows Al and she's been around, probably 5 years. I've been there, so she was like, Jesus Christ, they made Al look like a superhero.
Well, they should.
Yeah, my God.
Has he gotten in the ring since the fight with Shannon?
Not with OVW. He does work. He works with one of our main wrestlers, Cal Hero.
Okay.
Him and Cal Hero do tag team matches together a lot throughout the Midwest and the North.
Had he legitimately not wrestled since, like, they built it up like this was, we're bringing Al out of retirement? Blah, blah,
it had been years. It had been years.
Okay.
Don't know how many years because they all kind of blend together after a while, and he probably couldn't tell you either. But yeah.
Why was Darkstorm in his car?
Wasn't his car.
Why was Darkstorm in someone else's car?
Again, the only thing, because we all knew that it wasn't his car, the only thing that we can guess was to further perpetuate the character of Darkstorm.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
What? Who's the next big name to come out of OVW? In your humble opinion?
There's a couple. There's 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. And God, if the boys listen to this, the ones that aren't these 3 are going to give me so much heat. But it is what it is. Luke Curtis.
Okay.
Is the first one. Former only, I think, former. Goodness, I'm losing track of time. Former OVW heavyweight champion. Yeah, he is former OVW heavyweight champion. First time I ever did live TV with him, I called him by the wrong name. Down at the waterfront, we were doing a spot for the wrestling show we do out there for the Derby Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Called him by the wrong name, and he let me live, so I'll always put him over for that.
That's fair.
Excuse me. The second one is Jack Vaughn, the veteran. Great dude, and he understands professional wrestling. I mean, he's great at damn near everything. He's got very little flaw in his game, no wasted motion. Big dude. He's like 6'7", 6'8", big handlebar mustache. And again, I mean, he's a sweetheart. He's probably going to get mad at me for putting him over like that, but it is what it is. And then the third one, it was the guy that I was talking about earlier that Al Snow's tagging with is Cal Hero, formerly the Fanny Fat Kid, young as can be. I think he might be 22. Might be 22, but he has been in wrestling for good. He's been at OVW for at least 3 years, and he has grown so much and turned into, I mean, just a dude, an absolute dude, hell of a dude. He's got a bright future ahead of him. He's just clean as a sheet. And he's in the ring training all the time, getting better, doing the right things, talking the right game. I cannot put that kid over enough, which is kind of strange because I'm not used to doing that. In wrestling, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
So, and I have been burying Cal Hero since the minute that he got on the scene because he's been a good guy. And my job as a bad guy to, talk down to them. So to actually talk about him in a positive light, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel natural. I feel like I need to.
I've heard it before in the past, but I'll ask you because you know the answer to this. Is it better to be a bad guy? Is it more fun to be a bad guy?
God, yeah.
Better to be a heel.
The world's your oyster when you're a bad guy. You can do anything, say anything, and if you believe it, then it's true. When you're a good guy, there's a very small box that you could play with. A couple guys will be able to go outside of the box, but there's still that same general line that you got to follow.
Yeah.
That bad guy, brother, you can go everywhere.
Writing process. How is that? I'm like every fan. I think I could write a great story for wrestling. I know I can't. I have self-awareness when it comes to that, but you also in the moment, you Monday morning quarterback everything. What is the writing process like at OVW? Is there how does that go?
Yeah, so a lot of people can write a great story, and I'm sure stuff that you've written has been good.
I don't write anything. It's all in my head.
But the issue comes from the variables. How long is this going to take place?
Yep.
What's the story beyond this first week, second week, first month, second month? Are the talent going to be on board? Because you need the talent to be on board.
It's fair.
Because if we're dealing, this is a soap opera for men. These guys are actors, actresses, athletes. It is what it is. I'll be for real. But so you have the drama of studio work, like theater, but then on top of that, the insane athleticism, and then with that comes injury. So we have had stories written out for 6 months. Month 2, somebody blows their ACL, scratch
out the window. Yep, you got to pivot.
Doesn't matter. That's the name of the game. So that is the problem. It's having consistent, good stories, but having incredible luck and having the right talent in place to get things out.
Last thing, and we will get out of here because your time is valuable, and we've hit the mark.
All
right. Together, we are going to create the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers.
Okay.
So you're the guest. You get to go first. Who is number one or one of the four that... let's not say number one. Let's say who has to be on it. Who
has to be on it? Okay, so this is my personal, or
you pick one, I pick one. This is you. You pick one, I pick one. You pick one, I pick one.
My personal number one is Mick Foley.
Okay, that's a fair choice. Yeah, I mean I think for some that is
a lot of people. He's
number one,
and he was. I had the pleasure of doing commentary with him back in January for OVW. He's still working with OVW to some extent to this day, but it was an absolute dream moment for me that I'll never forget as long as I live.
I will say Stone Cold Steve Austin as my number one. I think that was, we were talking before, and my cousin brought over a VHS copy of Hulk Hogan versus Goldberg, and that was like my first. I had no idea what wrestling was before that. but I do now. And I'm like, how do I see more of this?
Right.
How do I get more of this? And how do I consume this?
Welcome to the
as
club,
much
brother.
as possible.
Welcome
And then
to the club.
my earliest memories are him.
Yeah.
Always being a heel.
Sure.
The crowd still to this day screams "what" every time somebody says something. So he would easily be number 2 for me.
Yeah. Ric Flair.
All right.
And not even from a wrestling perspective, because his wrestling was great.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not. Ric Flair was and is the character, the quintessential, to me, bad guy of professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He did it better than anybody because he lived it. I think it was Jim Cornette a billion years ago said the best characters are themselves turned them to 11. Mm-hmm. I've taken that and tried to use that as advice in my career, both in real estate and in professional wrestling. But Ric Flair did it better than anybody. I feel like he might have dialed it down a little bit. I feel like brother was living at a 12 and took it down to an 11.
Yeah. All right, so we've got Mick Foley, Stone Cold, Ric Flair, number 4 for me. That's a tough one. I did this on purpose so you didn't have to pick last. Now I can get all the heat.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is great radio, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, dead air, brother.
Dead air,
Dead
baby.
air. Yeah.
Jeff, leave this in. I'm going to go with Mr. Steel WrestleMania for himself, The Rock.
From a grand perspective, nobody has done more with and without wrestling
Yep.
than The Rock.
I think the outside of wrestling stuff throws him over the top.
And then for him to be able to, because he took a long break from wrestling, but now he's back, and he's back regularly enough where it feels like he's still an integral part.
And he ran a 30-minute match at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't like a tag me in at the end, let me knock a couple people down and call it a day.
Oof.
It was he was out there working.
I will tell you, regardless, I have done wrestling training. It is more intense and exhausting than anything that I have done in my entire life.
Gosh. Well, we will wrap this up. Like every episode, we give out a gift.
Oh, hey, cool. Sweet.
It's free. I don't pay any money for it. We re-gift something from my house that I no longer need or utilize.
Okay.
And for you, being in the entertainment world, maybe you can find a use for these that I cannot.
Oh, my God. Really? Can I ever? Well,
hopefully, those will get more miles on your face than they will on mine.
I'll tell you what, brother. I just yesterday filled up my brand new above ground pool in my backyard. And I feel like these sunglasses go better than just about any other prop with my brand new above ground pool.
You look fantastic.
I feel fantastic.
All right. If anybody wants to get a hold of you to buy real estate or follow you on social media, how can they?
I'm going to be that odd bird, brother. I don't do socials.
All right. If somebody wants to buy a house from you, how can they get a hold of you?
My cell phone. I'll give out my cell
That's fine.
phone. Okay, I'll Mike Jones.
The dozens of people that are going to listen to this.
Yeah, it's all yours. 502-544-0012 or SR Johnson at homepagerealty.com. Those are going to be the ways you can reach out to me. I guess I do technically have social media at Pier 6 Brawl on both X and Instagram, but I don't check them. So if you want to reach out there, I won't check it.
Anything else you want to plug before we go?
Check out OVW for those that are local and listening, 4400 Shepherdsville Road. It's the future of professional wrestling today. Great show.
You have to say that?
No.
Isn't that the tagline?
No,
right?
I just made that up.
I thought there was a tagline.
It's something like that.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't like it.
Sorry,
so I went with mine. No worries, brother. It just allows me to repeat it.
Yeah.
The future of wrestling today, OVW, 4400 Shepherdsville Road. You can get your ticket at ovwtix.com. That's it. Wow, that felt so natural saying that. I feel like I've said it every week for the last 5 years.
There you go. Awesome. Well, Steven, I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man.